welcome to another episode of Feature Garage Vlogs, where today we're working on something that's not owned by myself or Zach. This car is owned by Disco Dave, which you may have seen in another video. We actually did an interview about him and his car. It's a CRX that gets used for lemons racing. So what we're doing today is cleaning and consolidating wiring, or finishing that up, hopefully. You might not know what it looked like before, so I'll go ahead and post a picture of the engine bay now. So what you're looking at is a whole bunch of spaghetti and a fuse panel. Now, it's all fine and dandy and it works, but we're just kind of trying to clean it up. So all that stuff got relocated here. And all the wiring in here also got cleaned up. And again, if you don't know what that looked like before, here's a picture. So we had just the top of a toolbox being used to house gauges, relays, and switches. All that wiring is getting cleaned up, and the rest of the toolbox is actually here to kind of just overall clean up the appearance of the cabin. And the same story is going on over here. A lot of wires got removed, cleaned up, consolidated, and it just made the interior of the car a nicer place to be when you're on track. So this is the reason that this car's getting yet another overhaul. This engine exploded during the last race. Where was that, at Carolina Motorsports Park?
Yep.
So what happened with that?
We're really not sure why it blew up. I think it boiled down to oil choice. Just picking the wrong oil, abusing the oil. It was the number 4 rod bearing, it's the furthest one from the oil pump, that gave up. So it just didn't get the pressure it needed. We're experiencing some weird oil pressure drops in high G corners. And when you're going 80 miles an hour around a long sweeping corner, it was just losing its oil pressure all the way out there. Even though we had a baffled oil pan, there's just things we could do better, and it's a learning process. Endurance racing is a totally new set of stresses that we have to figure out how to deal with.
And as a result of all that, the number 4 rod decided to make a window in the block. And this is the aftermath of that.
I don't think I'm going to take this one apart. I've never taken one apart and found anything I didn't like. This was a daily used oil pump, you know. It wasn't a race car. It wasn't something somebody dragged and put a bunch of RPMs through, you know. I think I'm just going to use it just like it is. We'll know pretty quick.
And this is the engine that's getting put together to power the car again. So what I'm doing right now is I'm getting the wires ready and I'm tinning them, and I do this for all the wires before I actually solder them together, just to ensure that there's a solid connection. I found it. I didn't look at it last night because I was busy doing, I don't know, whatever.
Do you know that I went through, it took time. I had to click onto YouTube.
Okay.
Then I had to search the Beards.
Yep.
And then I had to find the song.
Uh-huh.
And then I had to copy it.
Right.
And then paste it on your Facebook post.
Yep.
That took time.
I didn't care. So Dave's bitching about some video that he sent me on Facebook. You know, when people send you videos and you don't really want to watch them, so you just don't, and that's what happened.
You used to care a lot more.
Okay.
You used to care a lot more.
Well, right now pizza, so. A brand new water pump, huh?
Seriously, well, it was brand new. It's raced some, and
it's pretty corrody.
well, that's what happens when you have to run water in your race car.
Straight water.
Straight water. The tracks do not allow water wetters and coolants because they're super slick and really hard to clean up. So you have to run water. Yes, it messes with boiling points and it gets, we haven't had any problems. We run a great big giant radiator. I still run a heater core in the car so that we have lots of cooling ability. But that's what happens. Stuff rusts. Water is not good for your car. And that's why you run coolant, because coolant has anti-corrosive properties in it. Also, coolant expires after a couple of years. Those anti-corrosive properties don't work as well anymore. So when a shop is trying to sell you a coolant service, they're not trying to rob you. You should replace your coolant, I think the interval is every 4 years, so that you can have those anti-corrosive properties. All you people that complain about my heater core is leaking into my car, well, that's because you didn't change your coolant often enough. The coolant got, you know, to where it could rust things and wear stuff out, and now it wears out the bottom of your heater core and it's leaking into your car. You know, everybody thinks shops are trying to sell them on everything, but we're not. We're really not. We don't want to have to take your heater core out. It's a 10-hour job that requires removing your whole dash. We'd rather you pay for a 1-hour job and replace your coolant. So things like this don't happen. Those of you running straight water in your car, not smart. You can run distilled water and it won't be so bad, but straight water is no bueno.
Pro tip.
Yeah.
Tips.
Huh?
Something about tips. I don't know.
Like beef tips?
Beef tips.
Something I had to do on putting this motor together.
Yep.
Please excuse the mess. Yes, things are messy. I'm at home working, and I don't have all the tools at my disposal at my house that I have at work. All the Allen sockets and Torx sockets and things. You know, I do have this kit. This is a gear wrench kit. It doesn't get very big. And when I build a motor, all the little plugs come out of the motor so that I can clean all the galleys and all the passages, get in there with wire brushes, get in there with a pressure washer, but it doesn't work. So at work, I have this. I work 40 minutes from here. I'm not gonna drive back to the shop and get it. So I'm standing here scratching my head going, how am I gonna get this out? Here's how you get it out.
Pro tip.
Pro tip. So you start grabbing bolts and you go, that doesn't fit in there. That's a 17 millimeter transmission bolt. What I did was I grabbed something that was a 14 millimeter. That was the next bolt. It's laying around here somewhere, but we'll just grab a regular 14 mil. That's a half shaft bolt from a Honda. That is a 14 millimeter Allen. So okay, great, you have a bolt that fits in there. What do you do now? You go grab out of your, well, you normally would go over here and grab your pipe wrench. And you put your pipe wrench on the bolt, just like pliers. Let me grab a set of pliers. So what I do is I get a bolt that I don't care about, and I have tons of these Honda bolts, 14 millimeter bolt, and in order to get this guy out, which threads into the block right here, if you have any salt and you know anything about engine building, you clean your stuff. So I took a bigger bolt than this, a longer bolt, and I put a flat side on it with my grinder, and then I grabbed a big pipe wrench. I have a giant one around here somewhere that obviously is missing. And you grab the bolt and you twist it out. You don't have to have all the tools in the world, but you do have to have a little bit of drive to absolutely not want to let it beat you. And I'm not going to drive 30 miles back to work to go get one socket. It was difficult, but when you don't have the right size Allen wrench, you probably have the right size bolt.
Solid. What was the second tip?
I don't remember yet. Oh, okay, I do remember what it was. People are going to crap their pants though, and they're not going to like it. All right, second tip. I did not have my handy dandy Sears Craftsman ring compressor. This is the one I really like. I don't care if you want to spend a lot of money on ring compressors that are made just for the right size piston. I don't care. I don't care. This guy does a really good job. It's never let me down. I have always put my pistons in the holes with that compressor. Didn't have it. Again, it's 30 miles away, 40-minute drive to work. But I'm determined to get pistons in the hole. What I did have, because I've had lots of turbo stuff laying around, I had a V-band clamp. V-band clamp happened to fit around that perfectly. You back off that nut, put it on, cinch it back down, set your piston in the hole, pop one tap with a rubber mallet handle, in it goes. I can't stand to let a job beat me because I don't have the tool laying around. There's a lot of places that people just can't run to the store and grab this fancy thing, so you come up with something better. V-band clamp worked perfect. So Jordan just messaged me. Do I have any extra cats? I have 2 cats. One has no tail, but I don't think I have any extra ones.
I think he meant Cadillacs.
Oh, Cadillacs.
Cadillac converters.
Sorry, Jordan. I do not have catalytic converters. Those all get scrapped so I can buy crack and crystal methamphetamine.
Mm-hmm.
So I told you I'd find one just sitting on my bench in there, didn't I?
Nice. Is it good?
Yeah, it's fine. It spins.
This is nice. I like.
You know, when I took this motor apart and cylinder head and everything, I never found any metallic anything. Huh?
That's good.
Yeah, usually you blow up a motor or you have a motor letting go, or even just one that's got years on it. At least the VTEC solenoid gasket, which has a screen built into it, it'll have shavings in it. Zero. Nothing. So I think it went poof all of a sudden.
Well, even your bearings are still good, so. Right? Or no, those are the bearings you pulled out of that, didn't you?
Right. No. They're not still good.
Okay.
So it's just a weird blow up. And I don't have enough experience blowing up engines because this is honestly the first one I've blown up, and I've probably built, 20. I've never. It's a great track record. The problem is I have no way to diagnose.
You need more experience blowing shit up.
Yeah, I don't want it. I'm just gonna pass on that.
Oh.
And just keep building things that don't blow up.
Well, whatever floats your boat.
This was a really big hit to my ego.
Alright, so I'm about done with wiring for tonight. Probably another 30-45 minutes and it'll be done and ready to make blinky lights and switchy switches and stuff. So, meanwhile, Dave is trying to put the belt on the thing.
There we go.
And there it is. Alright, so that about wraps it up for tonight's random wrenching. Be sure to check out the website Monday morning. We've got an article coming out, futuregarage.com, and fart noises are still hilarious. It doesn't matter what age you are, farts are always funny. Alright, until next time.